Ancestors in Africa, the pillars of spiritual and cultural identity. In African traditions, the role of ancestors surpasses the limitations of the physical and spiritual realms, shaping the cultural, spiritual, and social fabric of communities. Ancestors, often called the living dead, are venerated as guiding forces, protectors, and repositories of wisdom. Their presence is deeply woven into African spiritual practices, family structures, and daily life, symbolizing continuity and the eternal connection between past, present, and future generations. The concept of ancestors in African spirituality. In African cosmology, which refers to the understanding of the universe and the place of humans within it as perceived by African cultures, ancestors are regarded as spirits of those who have passed on but remain deeply connected to the living. They are not considered distant or inaccessible, but as active beings in the lives of their descendants. Unlike Western perspectives that often separate the spiritual from the material, African traditions view ancestors as existing within an interconnected spiritual ecosystem. To be considered an ancestor, an individual must have led a life of honor, respect, and service to their community. They are seen as custodians of the values, ethics, and traditions that define the community. Their transition to the spiritual realm does not sever their ties to the living. Instead, it strengthens their role as mediators between the divine and the earthly. Ancestor veneration practices. Ancestor veneration is a central aspect of many African spiritual systems. It is not simply about worship, but involves a reciprocal relationship of respect, guidance, and care. Offerings, prayers, and rituals are performed to honor ancestors, express gratitude, and seek their blessings. These practices vary across regions and cultures, but share common elements that reflect the African worldview. Altars and shrines. Many African households maintain altars or shrines dedicated to ancestors. These spaces are adorned with symbolic items such as photos, personal belongings, or sacred objects. Food, drink, and incense offerings are placed here as acts of remembrance and connection. Rituals and ceremonies. Special ceremonies are conducted to invoke ancestors during key life events such as births, marriages, and deaths. These rituals invite their guidance and ensure their presence during pivotal moments in the family or community. Dreams and divination. Ancestors are believed to communicate through dreams, signs, and divination. Spiritual leaders, such as diviners or shamans, often serve as intermediaries, interpreting messages from the ancestral realm. The role of ancestors in African society. Reverence for ancestors reinforces community cohesion, cultural continuity, and moral accountability. In African societies, collective well-being is prioritized, and ancestors are seen as guardians of this unity. Their guidance is sought in resolving conflicts, making decisions, and ensuring justice. Ancestral teachings also serve as a moral compass, instilling respect, humility, and responsibility. By honoring ancestors, individuals affirm their identity and place within the community. This connection fosters a sense of belonging and purpose, as descendants are reminded of their duty to uphold the legacy of those who came before them. Ancestors and resistance. Throughout Africa's history, ancestors have been invoked as symbols of resistance, resilience, and liberation. During periods of colonization and enslavement, ancestral spirits provided spiritual fortitude to those who faced oppression. The veneration of ancestors became a powerful source of empowerment, reminding communities of their inherent strength and cultural pride. Even in the African diaspora, ancestral veneration is a cornerstone of cultural identity. Practices like libation, pouring, storytelling, and rituals have been preserved and adapted, ensuring that the connection to ancestral wisdom endures across generations and geographies. Ancestors in modern Africa. In contemporary Africa, ancestors' role remains vital, even as societies modernize and adopt global influences. Many Africans navigate the intersection of tradition and modernity by integrating ancestral practices with contemporary lifestyles. For instance, urban dwellers may maintain ancestral altars within their homes or seek guidance from spiritual leaders while pursuing professional careers. This enduring relevance of ancestors in modern Africa reassures us of our deep connection to our roots. Moreover, the resurgence of African spirituality in recent years highlights the enduring relevance of ancestors. As younger generations reconnect with their roots, they are reviving traditional practices and honoring the wisdom of their forebears. This revival reflects a broader recognition of the importance of cultural heritage in influencing identity and resilience.